It's Matt Chapman, and I'm here with Priya Srinivasan, who is the Area HR Director for Developing Markets for Reckitt Benckiser in London. Hi, Priya.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks. We're just opposite ends of the world. It's nighttime in New Zealand, London morning. As I was coming into this discussion, reflecting that we have known each other since 2003, which was when you were at the very end of Colgate, Palmolive.
Yes. Yes. But it's been a
And
long
I've
relationship, Matt.
journeyed with you through AstraZeneca. And for those listening, Priya was with AstraZeneca for about almost 14 years, right?
Yes. 14 years
Across the world. And
lifetime.
yeah, and tell us a bit more for those who don't know about Reckitt.
So Reckitt is a consumer products company, and we work in various categories like hygiene, health, and nutrition. Our stated purpose is to protect, heal, and nurture, and to make access to hygiene a right, not a privilege for people. So we have many household names. I'm quite new to Reckitt, so I keep getting astounded by some of the fantastic brands we have, but brands that all of us have used: Dettol, Lysol, Nurofen, Durex. So there's just a whole range of products that we are making, and additionally, we acquired a company called Mead Johnson, which makes infant nutrition. So all of the baby milk products that like Enfamil that our kids have used are also our products. So this is all about Reckitt for you.
And describe the developing markets remit. So what countries and regions sit within in that?
So developing markets is sometimes known as emerging markets in other companies, but these are the less mature markets in terms of sophistication of marketplaces. So we have Latin America, Africa, Middle East, Turkey, India, ASEAN, China. So it's the world outside probably large parts of Europe and North America.
So we were talking before, and it's really, I guess, the emphasis of our short discussion now, about your view that this is really now the time for the importance of people, and that really coming to the fore for the HR role. And so we talked about a few sub areas, but one of them you talked about is the word essential. Can you explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, as I was saying, I guess the recent months, every single person in the world has experienced their life in a different way, and it's taught us, or taught me, the true meaning of the word essential. So what is essential and what's not essential? And if I have to reflect on our own organization and my own life, we've often said, we've all spent our hours or months or weeks traveling, getting on a plane, saying these meetings are absolutely essential to be done face to face, or we have to go to work and collaborate at a workplace, and just how we spend our time, things we do. And COVID and our own health situation has really put that to the front of our mind to make us sharply focused on what is truly, absolutely necessary. So we are asking ourselves the question, which activities are essential? Not which people are essential. Which activities are essential for us to literally have to sit together physically to collaborate, versus which activities can be done from anywhere? Why do we need to travel? Even within the purpose of the travel, why do I actually go? I go there to a country to engage with people, to meet customers, things that I experience a supermarket, things that I can't do on a Zoom or a Teams call. So we really needed to sharply define and how we prioritize our time and resources, and frankly, keep our sanity and well-being. So I'm sure everybody who's on this call has got their own experiences, but truly, I think the one thing is essential has a really new meaning for everybody.
Now, let's also talk about transformation, because that's another area you're thinking a lot about as well.
So there's. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go. I'll repeat that question. So another area we talked about is transformation, and obviously transformation of business, transformation of HR. But what comes to mind when you think about this?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question because my biggest insight at this moment is that never put off a transformation that you know is needed. And I think pre-COVID, we've all had the luxury of optionality, the luxury of putting it off, and also some kind of barriers to say, oh, let's just take the simple examples like using technology or working from home. There's the barriers of, oh, it won't work. Uh, there's something which is hidden and unsaid about trust. I don't trust that people are going to be all in. And what this crisis has taught us is that this was absolutely long overdue. We've just been putting it off. And when we have our back to the wall and we put our mind to something, we can actually absolutely make it happen. And there are innumerable examples in every firm where we have what we haven't managed to do in the last 20 years, we've done in like 2 weeks with respect to use of technology. I have people asking, and our IT departments and we've got this kind of innovation hub is banging on the innovation now on saying, how do I do virtual site visits, virtual onboarding, all kinds of things which were earlier much more of a push are now becoming quite a bit pull. So it's really taught me it's all in the head a little bit, and when you have to put your mind to it. But the biggest learning is never postpone it, because now I'm wondering why we were doing some of the things we were doing.
Yeah, I completely relate to you, and very, very well put. Now, we also talked earlier about the whole working from home thing, and also your comment that it's not work-life balance. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I guess the biggest insight for me, and it's varying degrees of insight depending on the corporation or the professional you talk to. But I think the social experiment in some way has proven that work from home is indeed possible. So that's very clear. But as I was saying to you earlier, as a senior leader and a female, and with two kids who are school going and a husband who's working, I often get asked a question: how do you manage your work, and how do you deal with work-life balance? And I've had several insights, but this last 3 months has kind of given me the insight that work from home does not equal work-life balance, because sometimes we were hiding behind the fact that we don't have the flexibility to work from home, or we offer that and therefore we are very good at allowing people the work-life balance. And this is a very personal point, is that I feel it's a matter of personal discipline. Work-life balance is really about personal discipline, and somehow my own, and I'm still working on it, because I think I had much more personal discipline when I wasn't working from home than when I am working from home. And I have this false sense of security that I'm seeing my kids and we're all together, but actually I think the quality of my experiences was different. And what that gave me was a real aha to say, it's all about where you draw the boundaries. It's your mental willpower. And what I've been really good at is my exercise and my own well-being, and all my 6:30 a.m. yoga, which I've been doing every day since the 15th of March. But there are other aspects of personal discipline where it's everybody you talk to, it's a slippery slope. We're working harder, we're working longer, and I'm not sure this is sustainable. And so putting it all together, my biggest insight is that there's something about flexibility, but work-life balance is a very personal point, and it takes a lot of personal discipline to achieve.
Yeah, I think it also takes a lot of reflection. And as someone who's been working remotely for the last 12 years, I still am assessing myself on a daily basis or a weekly basis around not just work effectiveness, but just general energy effectiveness on, do I have the energy to go to the gym or go for a walk or to cook dinner? And so I find myself constantly calibrating. So but it's good to be able to experiment. And I think we always need to look forward with hope. That we can continually adjust. The final point we talked about earlier was your views on the role of leadership in crisis, and I thought this was really fascinating. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, leadership is a common word used, thrown around. Leadership is important, but leadership in crisis is even more important, is ever so important. And the last few months have shown us how the role leaders are playing, the role leaders need to play, and bringing really leadership to the front of everybody's mind and attention. And also the new meanings of leadership. We've needed leaders to be much more empathetic, much more vulnerable. When you're seeing your cats and dogs and children and people walking all over, it's made leadership much more real. Um, Caring, points of are you truly listening? Are you truly interested in another person's challenges, mental well-being? All of those questions have really become ever so important, and the people who have really done it well have really gotten into the core of leadership, which is true interest, true concern, true support for the teams that they are being a leader to. And I think that this crisis has actually really sharpened and brought to the front of our minds the true meaning of leadership.
Thank you very much, Priya. Great perspectives there. That was Priya Srinivasan, Area HR Director for Developing Markets for Reckitt Benckiser in London. Thanks, Priya.
Thank you, Matt. Lovely to see you.